Ben Mendelsohn, nice to meet you.
Nice to be here.
If we can start with your new film, Una, you've navigated some pretty tricky subject matter over the course of your career in various roles. I assume it doesn't get much trickier than this.
No, Una is in a sort of a category of its own for difficult and unpleasant situations to be playing out. The guy's a pedophile, and he is discovered in his new life by his victim. But yeah, it's messy work.
What do you want?
To see you.
How did you find me?
You changed your name. Is that difficult?
Everything all right, Pete? Yeah, it's all good, mate.
Lots of writers, when I read some profiles of you to prepare for this, lots of people describe you on screen as having an intimidating, unsettling vibe, a sense of danger about yourself. Do you ever deploy that in real life, and can you teach me how to do it so I can use it on some politicians when I have to interview them on this show?
I think it's something that it's in the lexicon of Australian language. It's just of Australian non-verbal language. So I think it's something you learn growing up here. I mean, if you grew up in the outer suburbs or you spent time there, you know this stuff. You know it walking past guys on the street. You know there's a kind of it's something you got to learn how to do in order to kind of exist. So it's just taking that. You know how to do it. I have no doubt you could do it.
I reckon silence is very powerful.
Yes,
but it's really hard to do. So now I feel intimidated and unsettled. Look what you've done there.
But just being able to take those, I think that is, part of it. If you take a pause to think about what someone said, or you think about the response about it, it does create a sort of a tension in there. So it's stuff like that, and it's getting comfortable enough doing what you do as an actor to be able to do that. Because that can take a while. It's
also, and you just did it then too, it's silence and unbroken eye contact.
Yeah, no, you got to keep. Yeah, you do have to keep the your quarry inside.
Okay, I'm going to try that on the print next week.
I look forward to it. Oh, I mean, wow.
One of the things you've done recently is starred in one of the Star Wars films, Rogue One. What do you reckon if you could travel back in time and say to little Ben, you're going to be in a Star Wars film one day?
I've thought about this one a lot. I would have just said to little Ben, don't worry. One day you'll be in Star Wars. I've thought that a lot. There would have been a lot of things, a lot of worries and angst and stuff that, if I could have told him, don't worry, mate, one day you'll be in Star Wars, would have settled things a lot.
So I'm still in command? You'll speak to the Emperor about it.
The first time you walk on and you see, stormtroopers for real, and it's pretty awesome. And then if you have the good fortune to meet Darth, that's a whole other world of Star Wars.
You've had a lot of international success recently. When you were younger, you had a huge amount of success in Australia. You had this short period of about 3 years in the early 2000s where you didn't work.
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself during that period?
In that period in the 2000s was actually a really pleasant period in a lot of ways. But it's made all of this stuff that's come afterwards particularly just kind of very sweet, It's not typical, I guess, to be finding this sort of success in one's middle age. So it's pretty cool.
And what do you think are the benefits of having big success like that later in life, as opposed to, say, when you're in your early 20s and then all of a sudden you're a big international film star?
I think the first time you get you're going from zero to whatever type of success, it always mucks you up. I mean, and I've never seen it hit anyone where it hasn't sort of, it hasn't altered them for a period of time, which is typically like 6 months to 3 years. and you're kind of gone in one way or another in that period.
Are you getting home to Australia much these days?
No, I haven't been back for this. I haven't been back for 2 years before this. And the last time I was here was only quickly for work. So essentially, I've been out of the country for the last 7 years or so, nearly.
Do you get homesick?
I do. I get very, very homesick for particular things. I get Vegemite homesickness. I get going to the, I get meat pie homesickness. I get chocolate milkshake homesickness. I get coffee homesickness. And I do miss the people. I miss, I miss the Australian way of talking rot.
I don't want to embarrass you, but you do have an association with our program that goes back a few years when we did a story about a thing called the Dateables Ball, which was a group of volunteers who held a function for kids with special needs so that they could have an opportunity to meet romantic partners. And you rang us after the show to say, I want to pay for that to happen again.
Can't believe it. I've been waiting for ages for this, and it's been nearly a whole month.
What are you looking forward to?
Seeing all the girls and stuff and hanging out and just getting away from my mother, getting away from the unit.
And what about dancing?
Yeah?
Yeah?
I haven't danced in 5 years. My God,
The kid going, my first ambition to go out on this date night is just to get away from mum for a while and go and have a night out. And boy, that kid had a great night that night. I mean, that was beautiful. So, I mean, anyone can do it. Anyone can watch something that's broadcast and respond. And I think, we don't necessarily always feel like how close we actually are to this stuff. Look, the strength of Australia is it is naturally very fair and inclusive. And that's a beautiful, beautiful quality, and we don't want to lose that.
Well, we really appreciated your generosity, and it's been great to meet you as well. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here, Lee.